Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and we are joined today by Katie and Bryce. They are the founders of UltiMutt, which is essentially a mobile dog running company, to oversimplify it. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about UltiMutt and what you guys offer.
So like you mentioned, we are mobile dog running. So we come to your house and we bring your dog outside into our van. We have AC in there, and for about 30 minutes, we take your dog, put them on a slat mill, basically a treadmill without power, and they get to get some exercise in. So instead of you having to walk up and down the street with them, they're doing it in your driveway and hands free by you.
So explain the slat mill. So how does it work, and why did you guys choose that mechanism?
Yeah, so a slat mill is basically a treadmill, just paw powered instead of doesn't plug into electricity at all. Mm-hmm. And we went with Dog Trotter USA, their company in Virginia, and wanted to get an American-made product. And also, there's some great features on it. So there's a speedometer, so we can tell you how fast your dog's running. And there's a brake too, so that's super helpful in case a dog just wants to keep going or needs to stop. I have the ability to stop the treadmill, whenever it's needed. So it's really a best of both worlds with the quality of the make and then the features that come with it.
Yeah, and that's something that's good with the slat mill too, is that if the dog can make it go as fast or as slow as they are capable of. So that's really what we wanted to bring to our clients, was something that is really catered to any type of dog, whether you're an older dog that might be a little slower, you're still getting that exercise, but then the high drive dogs that want to run and just run for solid 30 minutes, they can do that too.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything that you guys put on the front of the treadmill? Is there anything to entice the dog to run? Because I assume some dogs will get on there and just kind of stand. Mm-hmm. So do you guys have something for that?
Absolutely, yeah. So we try general encouragement of the come on. We have squeaker toys, balls, ropes, all sorts of good things like that. Our last line of defense is obviously a little beg and treat, but we try not to use those. I mean, I don't like to eat and then go jump on the treadmill myself, right. So we try not to do that. But to get them started, that's the only one that we the sticking carrot. We'll take away the carrot once they get going.
Yeah, and then once we had a dog that did it a couple times, and at first they're always a little skittish or a little bit nervous because they just don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. But then after a couple times, he's a border collie, so he was all in it. He was okay, I'm gonna run, and he'll just chase a tennis ball. So if you just hold a tennis ball, then he'll just keep going on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you guys talk about this on your website. So some of the main uses are weight management, flexibility and strength training, so to speak, and then preventing unwanted behavior. So can you guys kind of dive into those three areas and how you're seeing help or improvement with those?
Absolutely. Give me that first one again. We'll go in order.
So first one is weight management.
Weight management. I mean, obviously,
yeah.
You're burning calories,
Yeah.
When you're at work all day and your dogs are on the couch hanging out in their kennel, whatever they might be doing, they're not burning calories, so it's a good opportunity for them to get moving.
Mm-hmm. So next one, we got flexibility and strength.
Yeah, so we know, especially from my experience, my dog had, he had a whole hip replacement. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing was, getting him outside, exercising him to re-strengthen that leg. So oftentimes it might be difficult, if the owner has hard with mobility too, to get the dog out for mobility as well. But getting the dog out there on the treadmill, they're able to re-strengthen what they can while
right.
working. Yeah.
And then the last one's unwanted behaviors. And this one kind of rings true to my household because we are all about enrichment, toys, puzzles, ideas. I don't think people have thought about this concept of you don't have to go run with the dog, but it could come with you. So talk about unwanted behaviors.
Yeah. So, a lot of dogs have high energy, especially working dogs. And if they don't get to express that energy, that's when you get dogs that are barking every time something blows past the door.
Or chewing up a whole couch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Digging in your yard, digging in your carpet, all these things that you don't want, restless at night. all those negative behaviors that you don't really want to see in your dog. From our research, they can be resolved, to a point, through being able to get that exercise out and get rid of that stress. It lets them work, and that's what dogs are meant to do. They're meant to work.
Yeah, I mean, and I think about the treadmill for any kind of classification, a working dog, a sporting dog, but even small dogs. I mean, small dogs also need exercise, and they're usually actually the most neglected because an owner's like, well, they went out to potty, they're fine.
Yeah.
And they kind of still need that same thing. So is there a minimum weight for the treadmill, and is there a maximum weight?
Yeah, minimum weight, no. We can fit, tiny toy dogs. They definitely get on there, no problem. Is there a maximum? Yes. Right now, probably like the largest size dog we could probably do is about a German Shepherd, somewhere along those. The Shepherds,
Like
the Malinois,
80 to 100 pounds.
Yeah, but the big Great Danes, the Mastiffs, they're not. We can't do them right now. But eventually, that's in our purview. We're looking to do that eventually. But right now, small, medium, large.
Yeah,
that's what we can handle right now.
Okay, awesome. And then what's your ideal client, or is there one? Is there not one? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I think for me, like when we were talking about this idea, like just thinking about, especially here in Florida, like there's so many, snowbirds and like just older people, that have their dogs and they love their dogs to death, but sometimes it's just so hard to get out to do that, taking them on a really long walk, especially those dogs that need that energy, expended, and like they're that working dog that just like needs like to run or go to a dog park. Those aren't always readily accessible, like especially like we're at the beaches area, like it's just not. You have to go like 30 minutes across town to find a dog park where they can just run off leash. So for us, I think we're just trying to find families who, have their dog and they know how important it is for them to exercise, but they might need to fill in some gaps in their exercise routine.
Yeah. And I envision like apartment owners, we have so many apartments in Jacksonville, Florida, and down at the beaches that those would be good people. And then right now, it is so hot in Florida. Yeah. It is over 100. I can't walk my dogs.
Right.
And so this is a perfect alternative so they don't burn their little feet. They don't, get too hot, especially with the AC going.
Yeah.
And then, of course, rain. We see it all the time. And you're like, oh, I'm going to walk them after work. And then it starts raining.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 30-minute increments. Is that normally kind of what people are buying, like 30-minute increments? Can they buy less? Can they do more?
So we have it set at 30 minutes. Some dogs, they'll need that full 30 minutes, and some, very small dogs might only need 15. So it's going to be the standard block, and then based on your dog, we'll cater to that. And, we don't need a dog to be exhausted on the treadmill or on the slat mill. That's not what we're about, but it's all going to be one block, and if your dog needs less, then we'll give them less.
Okay.
Right, because the dog, at some point they stop because they have the ability to just like stop, and then the slat mill stops moving. So then at that point we're like, okay, they're panting like they're tired. So then at that point we're like, okay, it's time for them to come off. And then maybe as they build up that, stamina, they can do that 20-minute, 30-minute time block.
And if someone wants to, buy a package, buy a single session, they want to look into you guys, where can they find you online with your website, social media, all of that?
Yeah. Website, UltiMutt, UltiMutt, a little cheesy, UltiMuttDogRunning.com is our website where you can find us, schedule appointments there. We also have Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram's the same, UltiMutt Dog Running. That's us on Instagram. That's our handle. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.